family, grace to you. This is Greg coming to you once again from FaithsMessenger.com. Today I want to talk about operating outside of the will of God for your life. Operating outside of the will of God for your life. And I want to start by relating to you a quick story of something that happened to me a few years back. It must have been early 2000, 2001, somewhere around in that area. My wife had the opportunity to start her own business, a franchise that she started down here to branch out up into the Spokane, Washington area. So we were both excited about the opportunity. At that time, I was working down at the Port of LA. I left my job and I had a part-time job that I would do from home. So I just increased that business and we moved up to Spokane, and I had my own home office up there, and we began on this venture of her starting her own business up there, or an extension of her existing business up there. Now, since I was working from home, I did have some time, some spare time, and I love volunteering my time. So I started to try to seek areas in which I could volunteer and become of service to the community up there. Now, up there, the Boy Scout, the Big Brothers of America is very prominent up there. There's a big need for Big Brothers up there, and there are commercials and billboards all over. So quite naturally, what came to mind first was the Big Brother program. So I went through the process of becoming a Big Brother. Entails background checks and a certain amount of paperwork, and becoming familiar with the company and the organization, and them becoming familiar with you. And there is an extensive selection process in terms of you choosing which little brother that you're going to mentor, and the whole process lasted about 6 months, as I recall. And I was excited. It was a worthy cause, a legitimate and worthy organization, and a national organization, so I was excited about it. So I finally chose my little brother, and I met his family, and it was great kid, great family. So we started setting up our visits. Now, Big Brothers requires that you meet your little brother at least once every 2 weeks. And they suggest that you take him out of the house, go to the park, go to a restaurant, go to amusement parks. You can go pretty much anywhere you wanted, but they strongly suggest that you meet outside of his home environment. So we did that. We'd go to the park and we'd play basketball, and we had a great relationship. He was a great kid. He belonged to a great family. But I noticed that there was this black cloud, it seemed, that just formed over me in relation to my relationship with him. And I couldn't shake it. I couldn't deny it. It was something that I got to the point where I didn't look forward to our visits. It was burdensome, this big brother, little brother relationship that we had going on. And at that time, he was bonding to me, and the thought of me opting out of the program at that point was just unconscionable. I couldn't do that to him. I mean, that's the whole thrust of the Big Brother organization, is for you to be a pillar in this child's life. And they strongly suggest that you not break the bond. I mean, barring any type of extreme emergency, these types of children have been let down repeatedly in their lives, and you don't want to be another cog in that breakdown for them. So we go on for probably a year meeting, and it was horrible. And I felt bad. I felt guilty for feeling bad about this relationship, this burdensome relationship. I would drop him off after our meetings, and already the black cloud of knowing that I'm going to have to meet with him again in 2 weeks it was bad. So through a series of events that I never quite figured out nor could the Big Brother organization figure out, this family just disappeared off the map. They moved. They just up and left the community. They didn't notify anyone. They didn't notify Big Brothers of America. They didn't notify me. They just were here today, gone tomorrow. And I believe that was God giving me a pass, God letting me out of that relationship. And so it bothered me now that the relationship was severed. It did bother me that I felt that way, because I love volunteering my time. And what more of a worthy organization could there be than Big Brothers of America? And I sought God over it, and I've never been one of these people to say, oh, well, God spoke to me or God told me this, but there have been a handful of occasions where I can say that this definitely was the voice of God, and this particular situation was one of those times. In prayer over this whole Big Brother situation, I heard God say, He said, son, because I talk to you about what's on my heart does not mean that I want you to solve the problem. And that just totally changed my life. It revolutionized the way I thought of our relationship. Because, and it's just common sense. Now I can look back on it and say it's so common sense, because how many important people that you have in your life, and you know their situation, you know the circumstances, you know what's near and dear to their heart, you know what is a burden to them, you know what bothers them, but that doesn't mean that they want you or need you to change their circumstance or to change what bothers them. I use my wife as an example. She's got a lot of things that she's dealing with friends and on the job, with co-workers, even at church sometimes, and she talks to me about them. She in no way intends for me to solve her problem. She's just sharing her heart with me. Well, as children of God, He's in us and we're in Him, and we fellowship and we talk and we relate and He shares with us. That doesn't mean in His sharing He wants you personally to do something about what bothers Him. He's simply sharing what's on His heart. And at the time that I was in Spokane, He shared with me that the Big Brother organization was what's on His heart. One of the many things that's on His heart. But He never intended for me personally to get involved. So walking outside of the will of God for your life, even though there may be opportunities that are good, that are just, that are right, that are needful, doesn't necessarily mean that it's your niche and your opportunity to get involved. God has a myriad of things on His heart. So many things in the world are touching. So many things in the world are needed. But don't allow yourself to be burdened with the fact, just because you know of them, just because it touches you, doesn't mean that it's incumbent upon you to get involved. Practically, you can get involved in prayer, you can support whatever endeavor financially, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are supposed to take a part in meeting that particular need. So I just want to share that with you. I hope that blesses you as it blessed me. If you are involved in something or contemplating being involved in something, take the time to seek God before you jump in to try to meet a need when it's not your calling to jump in and meet that particular need. Take the time, be prayerful, use wisdom, and seek God before you take on a burden or a challenge that may not be for you. So I want to leave you with that, and I want to thank you for joining me. I want to invite you to become a YouTube subscriber if you aren't already, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notification when new videos are posted. Likewise, I'd like to invite you to sign up for our blog at www.FaithsMessenger.com to receive blog posts when posts are posted on the blog. Also, I'd like to invite fellow Christian YouTubers to join our YouTube community, which is located at micro-ministries.com. And what our community is about is we are about getting as much traffic to your YouTube channel as possible. We support one another, we encourage one another, we give tips and tricks on SEO, we do whatever we can to get you as much exposure and as much traffic as possible to your YouTube channel. So once again, that community is located at micro-ministries.com, and I will leave a link to the community in the description box below. It is a it is a private community, so I will need to send you an invitation to join. So just drop me a line at FaithsMessenger@gmail.com, and I'll send you over an invitation to join. You are welcome to join us. So given the fact that we now have clarity on what we should or what we shouldn't do, we now have clarity that if something is touching to you does not necessarily mean that it's incumbent upon you to get involved. I want to ask you, is anything impossible with God? Have a great day, family. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.